Good morning, Purti.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Ms. Zinat.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sujay Bhai. Good morning, Mrs. Vaz. Good morning, Jairaj Bhai.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. We are just waiting for Mr. Aditya Thackeray to join, and then we shall begin.
Put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. Charge the people $1.50 just to see.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Aditya Thackeray.
Good morning, Sujay. How are you doing?
All well. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure pleasure to get me on board. Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Aditya Thackeray.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm fine,
Hello,
thank
Aditya.
you.
Good
Welcome.
morning. This is Jairaj here.
Good morning. How are you doing?
All well. How are you? All good?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning,
Thackeray.
sir.
Mr. Thackeray, good morning. I'm Sonal Chabria, and the students and teachers of JNIS are very happy that you could be with us today and continue being a mentor. The students have read so much about what you have done that they are really, really thrilled that you can be here with us. So on that note, we would like to begin this.
We can maybe wait for a minute. I think the screen is frozen.
Arya and
Yeah.
Ahan and Zahara.
Yes.
Greetings to everyone present here. I'm Devina Muzumdar and I'm Arya Mehta, and we're going to be your hosts for today. We'd like to extend a very, very warm welcome to Managing Trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar, Trustees, Srimati Urvashi Thakkar, Shri Sujay Jairaj, Srimati Meena Thakkar, Chief Guests and Keynote Speaker, Mr. Aditya Thackeray, Panelists, Ms. Ravina Tandon, Mr. Amit Gupta, and Mr. Angad Daryani, Head of School, Ms. Jasmine Madani, Principal of JNS, Ms. Zeenat Hojabal, Principal of JNS Gift City, Gujarat, Ms. Anupama Singh, Principal of Chhatrapur Narsi Monji School, Ms. Merazine Doctor, Deputy Head of School, Mr. Michael Gramlich, Senior Advisor, Ms. Josephine Vaz, MYP Coordinator, Ms. Sonal Chabria, DP Coordinators, Ms. Rini Ghosh and Dr. Samir Zare, IGCSE Coordinator, Ms. Neeta Rajguru, PYP Coordinator, Ms. Purti Singh, and head of all the other 65 schools across the globe. Parents, teachers, and students, thank you so much for being here today. We are very excited to have you all. At JNIS, it is tradition to take the blessings of the Almighty before beginning any event.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you enjoy us and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll enjoy us and the world will live as one.
JNIS Ecotopia is an eco club through which we take initiatives to better the environment. And this year we are hosting a global summit, inviting schools and individuals from around the city, country, and beyond. In an exchange of ideas to promote the concept of green schools, H.O.P.E 2021 will include eminent keynote speeches, engaging panel discussions, and events focused on reimagining schools as engines for a sustainable future. We have had 550 entries for events like essays, poems, zines, sustainable innovations, poster making, photo essay, policy dialogue, and Ecotopia. All entries have been judged by 28 judges from around the country and the globe. Today, 4 finalists of each category will be judged in different Zoom rooms at 12 noon. Now, let's have a sneak peek into a why and what of our H.O.P.E event.
What is the meaning of our life?
Really?
We must view it as a call to action.
In office, I withdrew the United States from the unfair, ineffective,
what is happening back home that is hanging over his head here. Allies want to hear that America can.
Climate Accord.
We just have to make a choice to do it.
Every day, I made a decision to protect the only place I call Earth.
She tells us that we have 2030 or 2050. It's now.
Ecosystems are
You've got to be worried about
we
now.
are at the beginning of a mass extinction.
Only move together towards the future.
Now.
So united we rise, and together we will definitely succeed.
To commence the event, we'd like to call upon the presidents of our very first H.O.P.E Summit, Ahan Shah and Zara Mochit.
Greetings of the day, everyone. We are thrilled to have you here with us today. All of us here today are cognizant that the climate crisis is becoming an increasingly alarming concern. Climate change is not some far-off occurrence. It's a cry for action, a catastrophe looming over us like Damocles' sword.
Long gone are the days where we existed as one planet Earth, all species brought together to live and revel in the paradise that is our planet Earth. Every single day, billions of creatures die as a direct result of our actions, and countless others as an indirect consequence. A mere glance at the news shows us the implications of climate change, from wildfires in Australia to drilling water resources in South Africa, from Mumbai's December rains to droughts in countless regions of the world. We know for a fact that our generation will be the most impacted by climate change, and we will be the forefront of the fight against it.
We know that global efforts are required to combat climate change. With this in mind, Ecotopia JNIS is confident that today's students are tomorrow's leaders, and that schools have the ability to serve as catalysts for change. H.O.P.E 2021, which echoes the steadfast belief, brings together over 550 students from about 15 nations for a day of collaborative dialogue. Each of our events starts to promote consciousness, advocate for change, and mobilize people to help solve the climate crisis.
The goal of the essay and the policy dialogue is to discover systemic long-term solutions by deliberating solutions to achieve carbon neutrality. Ecotrivia aspires to help people gain a better understanding of our environment.
The zines, Pictures for Progress, and poems raise awareness about the urgency of the climate crisis and educate us about our role in it by exploring the themes of biodiversity, overconsumption, waste, and global collaborations.
The Sustainable Innovations Initiative aims to identify creative solutions to the world's most pressing environmental concerns. Finally, the H.O.P.E book, which is a collection of all the ideas deliberated at this summit and curated by our students, serves to be a guide for other schools seeking to go green and creates a community of like-minded schools fostering global collaboration.
We are certain that providing today's youth with a forum to deliberate our gravest predicaments will ensure a greener, brighter future for all of us. We are confident that everyone in attendance today will carry the spirit of collaboration and consciousness with them, not only throughout the day, but also long after the summit is concluded.
Hundreds of people from around the globe have joined us here today for the very first H.O.P.E conference. Together, we can make an astronomical impact if we believe that we can do so and take such action. Once again, thank you for joining us and taking the first step to heal our planet Earth.
Thank you, Ahan and Zara. It is now our pleasure to invite Ms. Jasmine Madani, the head of Jamnabai Nursi International School, to give us the welcome address.
Thank you, Devina. Respected Managing Trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar, Honorable Chief Guest, and our keynote speaker, Mr. Aditya Thackeray, Trustee Srimati Urvashi Thakkar, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, invited dignitaries, Ms. Ravina Tandon, Mr. Angad Daryani, Mr. Amit Gote, JNIS Principal, Mrs. Zeenat Bojoboy and her team, Senior Advisor, Mrs. Vaz, members of the core team, teachers, parents, and my dear students, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the first annual summit, Heal Our Planet Earth, H.O.P.E 21. Congratulations to the JNIS Ecotopia team for taking up the challenge to preside over the first global summit, a path forward to address climate change. It's time that we must act now. What each one of us will do or will not do will impact people in the city, country, and world at large. You all have got this opportunity to build better and sustainable future. For this, I would like to extend my gratitude to our Managing Trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar, and our Trustee, Shri Sujay Jairaj, for their vision towards preserving our planet Earth. Today, it is indeed our pleasure and honor to have with us Mr. Aditya Thackeray, Minister of Tourism, Environment, and Protocol, who has inspired us as a role model in having done extensive work in saving the environment. Aditya, your words of wisdom will sow the seeds of future growth. I warmly welcome our esteemed panelists, Ms. Ravina Tandon, Mr. Angad Daryani, and Mr. Amit Gupta. We are looking forward to the deliberations and discussions which will guide our students further to take relevant actions to heal our planet Earth. We are grateful to all the participants from the 4 continents for being part of this summit. If we work together, we can do more than just address this climate crisis. Once again, welcome to each one of you, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madani. We would now like to call upon our dynamic and visionary trustee, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, who conceived the idea of Ecotopia in 2020. He decided to unite all the 4 sister schools under one roof with the initiative of Ecotopia. Today's event wouldn't have been possible without his guidance and constant support. We would like to call upon Mr. Sujay Jairaj to address us.
Thank you very much, students. Firstly, wishing each one of you a very good morning. I would like to thank all the dignitaries present here for giving the valuable time this morning for H.O.P.E, an initiative by Ecotopia at Jamnabai Nursi International School. A big congratulations to Head of School, Ms. Jasmine Madani, and the complete core team of the school and the students for this initiative and making HOPE a truly global event in its first year itself. Climate change is a deeply critical concern, and we are extremely pleased to see our students leading the fight against it with this initiative. I would like to sincerely thank Mr. Aditya Thackeray, Minister for Tourism, Environment and Protocol, Government of Maharashtra, for joining us today as a keynote speaker. He has been leading the fight against climate change from the front, and we thank him for all the initiatives being taken along with the development for the state. I would like to thank Ms. Ravina Tandon, Dr. Amit Gupta, and Mr. Angad Daryani, and we are looking forward to the panel discussion with the valuable inputs. We firmly believe in HOPE's mission to empower students and schools to become catalysts for change, and we are very happy to host over 550 participants from 65 schools, 16 countries, and 4 continents for HOPE 2021. This summit truly reflects our vision for a community of like-minded schools that work together to create a greener future. Congratulations to each one of you for taking this initiative to heal our planet Earth. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir, for those uplifting words. With your vision of putting greater emphasis on the changing environment, the students of JNIS have learned the significance for a response to climate change. With such teachings instilled in us from such a young age, we are sure to grow up with the conscience of climate change. Actions speak louder than words. This proverb could not have been better illustrated by today's keynote speaker. He is one of the most prominent environmentalists in the country. His astute knowledge and immeasurable contribution towards the environment truly makes him remarkable in the realm of environmentalism. With ingenious ideas and impactful environmental policies, he has been at the forefront of fighting climate change. From sensitization through campaigns of afforestation, advocating for ineffable concerns such as water body purification, waste management, wildlife conservation, combating pollution, to policy making for a greener future. He has played a critical role to tackle climate change at every step of the way. He's the youngest cabinet minister in the state of Maharashtra and has a revolutionary vision for not only his state, but the whole world. I am beyond honored to introduce Mr. Aditya Thackeray. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. A very warm good morning to everyone, especially the presidents of HOPE, to Mr. Sujay Thakkar, Mr. Jairaj Thakkar, to Ms. Jasmine Madani, who also happens to be my math teacher back in the IB. And I would credit my entire passing of the IB math to her. And indeed, the students are very lucky to have her as the head of school. To all the principals and to all the delegates of this HOPE conference from around the world. Normally, when I speak in schools or speak with students or a generation younger to me, I have 2 basic rules. A, don't speak, only listen, because they have far better ideas than we have. And 2, apologize, because obviously, this is something my friend Afrosha and I keep doing. And, Sujay, I think you've come to one of our beach cleanups because, we take a lot of these students for cleanups of mangroves, for cleanups at the beaches, in the mountains, in the lakes, and to clean up things that they're really not responsible for. It is our generation or the generations before us that have actually signaled the destruction of HOPE. We've destroyed our planet left, right, center. We've polluted our planet left, right, center. And it's to the students, the younger lot, that we look towards for HOPE. We've come to a point where we're looking at newer ideas, newer innovations, newer breathtaking ideas, path-breaking innovations from these students of schools and colleges from around the world that would save our planet. And then the point really is, why did we reach this point in time of history? If we look at today, I guess most of you are students, especially across India and especially in some countries around the world. The medium we are speaking in today, a digital format, probably a little more hybrid format for some of you who've attended school. we are facing two crises around our planet, which are probably the tipping point of humanity. They will decide whether we survive on this planet or not: COVID and climate change. Of course, with COVID, just like climate change, even today, we have not many answers. We've just got defenses like our vaccines. We've got defenses like the masks. And I hope everyone gets, uses a mask every time you step out, because even today, when I go to people's homes or we go to meetings, a lot of us wear our masks around, our chins, not our noses. So that is one, but we at least have some sort of defense there. The other huge problem we face around the world is climate change. And just like COVID, climate change is much beyond our control even today. Now, both of these problems have to be only tackled in a scientific manner. There can be no populist manner, there can be no political manner, there can be no policy manner that really determines how we tackle these problems. The answer to this, of course, is scientific. But if we get scientific answers, if we get better scientific thinking, if we get a scientific manner of dealing with these two problems around the world, the answers then, the hope really in this whole problem lies in how we as individuals, as corporates, as schools, as structured organizations, as governments, as NGOs, as people around the world can deal with these two changes that are happening to humanity. Now, when we speak about dealing with COVID, of course, we have doctors looking into it, and I'm not going to dwell much into it because I know a lot of us have been bored to death about COVID, and people constantly talking to us about COVID. Now there's almost sort of a bet between friends that, guys, you'd be getting a treat if you don't speak about COVID when we meet up. And that is one factor. But when we speak about climate change, really, let me just give you what we are facing as a state. And when I speak about the state, I speak about the state of Maharashtra, which has almost 125 million people living in it. That's larger than most of the countries around the world. In terms of size, to give you a perspective, if we were in Europe, we would be the second largest country in Europe. We would be larger than Germany and smaller than Russia. Our 43 cities that hold 1 million plus population have almost 65 million people living in it. That's bigger than France, that's bigger than Germany, that's almost slightly bigger than the UK. But 65% of the state of Maharashtra today is still dependent on agriculture. That's the population I'm speaking of. And while I say that, in terms of the urban-rural divide, 51% of Maharashtra is already urbanized. Now, this is a dichotomy we all face, because when we are planning policies, we have to look at the agriculture side of it, the amount of people dependent on agriculture, and then we also have to look at the way we plan our cities going ahead. When we speak about Maharashtra, in the year 2020, and I'm giving you a little more stat on Maharashtra because you may get a perspective of what our state alone is facing, then you can compare it to what our country might face and what the world is facing. In the year 2020 itself, apart from the expenditure on COVID and the COVID crisis that we all faced, Maharashtra spent almost 14,500 crores on compensation arising out of climate change events. Now that is hailstorms, unseasonal rainfall, heavier rainfall than usual, droughts, floods, famines, and these are events that are happening every single year. These are events that are increasing every single year. I'm not being a doomsday soothsayer, but the point is Mumbai, which is also called the Bombay by the Portuguese, or the Good Bay at a certain point in time, we were known to be the safest harbor in our country. We were known to have, or rather not have, storms and cyclones and hurricanes. It was just in the year 2020 that we faced 3 cyclones in Mumbai and the Konkan coast. Now, this was supposed to be one of the safest coasts. And forget the kids that are watching it. I'm sure that many people who are older than us in the 60s, 70s have never even heard from their parents or grandparents of storms and cyclones in the city of Mumbai or the Konkan coast. I think this is unusual. What we thought were erratic weather events about 10 or 15 years ago, like droughts or rains that last beyond 2 or 3 days and beyond 250 mm per hour, are no longer erratic weather events today. These are usual weather events, and we are dealing with the erraticity of these events every single month. For those who live in the city of Mumbai or Pune, or live near Panvel or Uran or any place around Nasik, you must have felt that it's, or rather seen, thunderstorms in November or December. Now this again is unusual. We've seen this for the last 2 or 3 years. But the fact of the matter is, climate is changing. Weather is changing, and weather is of course day to day, but even on a longer term of time, climate is changing. And when I speak about climate change, it is no longer just about Antarctica or the Arctic Circle melting. It is being impacted for sure. It's no longer just about the Alps or the Himalayan glaciers retreating. That is happening for sure. But I am speaking about weather events in our own backyards, in our own lanes, in our bylanes, in our terraces, in our housing complexes, in our farms and fields. Weather is changing for sure, and the climate is impacting us for sure. Now, when I was at the COP26, and you of course, thank you for the kind mention of the award, because Maharashtra got the Inspiring Regional Leadership Award at COP26. Apart from that one award, the other two categories for the awards, one was won by Quebec and the other one was won by British Columbia. We all the three states were actually on the same table at the Stirling Castle when these awards were being presented. And the award that we've won, that was of course for Maharashtra, but the other two awards by themselves also highly commended for Maharashtra. So Maharashtra was actually mentioned in all three awards. Now, ironically, two of those three states that won the awards, one was Maharashtra and the other was British Columbia. Both of us faced calamities in November and December, just the next day of winning the award. You must have seen what happened in British Columbia and Canada. And if you haven't, you could Google it. But British Columbia faced a crisis of a lifetime in terms of climate change. They had to appeal for help. They had to ask for help around the world. Likewise, Maharashtra faced a huge crop damage in November and December because of erratic rainfall. The fact of the matter again is it's the first time that subnational governments are coming together to fight climate change. Be it the earlier COPs, be it the Kyoto Protocol, be it every other event that happened around the world. These were national governments really speaking about NDCs. These were national governments speaking about the responsibilities and the differentiated responsibilities, the protocols that have to be followed. It was the first time ever that everyone in Glasgow came together, not just as national governments, but subnational governments, corporates, and NGOs. I think now it is time to move beyond corporates, NGOs, subnational governments to the younger lot, to students, because finally, when we speak about climate change, it is about not tomorrow. It is about today. And the reason why I say this, and I can connect with the students, is because when I was in the 9th standard or 10th standard, I actually went with my school, Bombay Scottish back then, to watch this movie called The Day After Tomorrow. And I don't know how many of the panelists out here, the teachers on the screen I can see have watched the movie The Day After Tomorrow. And I would request my friend Sujay to, actually screen that in the schools, because The Day After Tomorrow back then in 2004, 2005, actually seemed like the day after tomorrow. It seemed like 50 years down the line, 100 years down the line, definitely not in our lifetimes. Slowly and gradually, and that put a fear into me that saying, okay, guys, let's not live that long, because I don't want to see the perils of climate change so soon in our life. But slowly and steadily, I just got a message on the screen saying we have screened it in JNIS. Thank you for doing that, actually, because what you will notice is the movie is no longer the day after tomorrow. It is not even tomorrow, it is today. It's happening around the world and it's happening today. And that is the fear I have, because when things like climate change happen, when things like sea levels rise happen, and you must have read again, just the other day, New York has started thinking about dikes. Now, the Netherlands already has dikes around it. The city of New York has started, thinking about dikes. Probably Mumbai will have to start thinking about dikes, but the coastal cities, the cities that are landslide prone, you have villages that are living on the hillsides. Now, these are the places where I feel we face maximum danger. And again, one of the divides at COP26, and probably we'll see at COP27 at Sharm el-Sheikh next year, will be the global north and the global south, which in simple terms means the haves and the have-nots, the developed countries and the developing countries. But I believe that it's beyond that today. Because when we speak about the global north and global south, it is no longer about north and south, it's one planet and we have to act together. The impact, like we are seeing with COVID, is going to happen globally, not seeing your race, not seeing your gender, not seeing caste, creed, culture, or the socio-economic political strata you come from. It's going to hit all of us and hit all of us really hard. The fear I have with India is if we don't move towards a greener future, if we don't move towards a sustainable developing future, we're going to be left behind, and left behind is not just behind, we're going to be off the grid. And I say this not just in terms of environment. You must be having a lot of business students here from the IB program and the GCSE program. The point is we have to see this as two E's. One is environment, which is extremely crucial for all of us to survive. And the other is the economics of things. Life and livelihood depends on environment today. And I say this because, yes, as environment, we're going to face terrible dangers ahead. A lot of migration, rural women, urban women, the vulnerable sectors of society, we're all going to face problems moving ahead. The amount of days that we are closed as cities because of flash floods. You must have seen what happened in Germany earlier this year. You must have seen what happened in London this year. Australia, the amount of revenue it's lost because of forest fires, in Canada and Seattle and all these places around the world. Yes, that is one, and we are losing out on the economics as well. But apart from our productivity, apart from our life, we also have a huge opportunity for India to move ahead. And of course, many other countries around the world who would dream of a sustainable future. That is where hope lies, because that is where the new jobs will come in, the new revenue will come in, the green new industry. I would want the students here, and I would urge the students all from the 15 countries around the world that have joined in to think about the green new industry, to think of innovations and technology that can help us survive this 100 years. Because when we speak about this decade, often it's termed by the United Nations, often it's termed by us as the last decade. And I strongly believe we do not have the luxury of time. We do not have 10 years as we go on today. If we don't change our actions, if we don't change our intent, we're going to go down in the annals of history. We're not going to survive as the humanity in probably the next 100 years. But humanity has this beautiful thing, the instinct of survival, the spirit of survival, the spirit of resilience. We rise like phoenix every time we face calamities. And that is where I think the hope really lies. I was actually, a couple of months ago, I was with this person called Cyril Ghosh. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. The guy runs Parley for Oceans. Every shoe of Adidas that you've bought, which is coming from ocean plastic, is designed by Cyril Ghosh. He's a design thinker. He's not even an environmentalist, but he was giving a presentation at the stock exchange in Mumbai. And he was telling us that, a few years ago, environmentalists were called as environmental activists. Now they call as environmentalists. And he calls them not environmentalists, he calls them as the futurists. And I was like, look, Cyril, I think the way we're going today and the events that are happening around the world, if you want to survive, you don't even need to call yourself the futurist, you need to call yourself a person trying for today, because this is no longer about the future. This is not about the next generation. Now climate change is no longer a fight about the next generation. It is about this generation. And that is where, hope really lies, and that is where hope can really succeed. I'm not going to take much of your time, but let me tell you this one small thing that, when we start working for climate action, be it mitigation, be it resilience, be it adaptation, this isn't about the planet. We are not doing a favor on the planet. We're not doing a favor on planet Earth, because the Earth has had many more probable species or creatures like us who've thought they were extremely important, they were extremely powerful, and something like the dinosaurs, they were wiped away in 1 second, a fraction of a second after the meteorite hit us, and the world was doing just fine after that. And a more intelligent species came about called the human race, or the Homo sapiens, as we love to call ourselves. Having said that, let me also tell you this, that if we believe that we are doing a favor on the planet and the planet cannot go on without us, it will go on without us. We will be wiped out, and the planet would have probably another beautiful species, more intelligent, more caring, more empathetic towards the planet, living on this planet. But if we have to survive, think of it as this way: you're doing this for yourself. When you sit in an airplane and they tell you, if at all there's an oxygen pressure that drops, wear your mask first before helping the others. It's the same thing. Protect yourself first. You're saving yourself. And I guess every action today will help us save the human race. When we speak about hope, let me tell you just one story before I conclude, and I'll give you some stats when I go into that story. The hope really starts off within your locality. I'm not asking you to think big. I'm not asking you to give up on traveling on airplanes. I'm not asking you to give up on your cars or anything that is big, because every action the humankind produces has a carbon footprint. Every time you go to brush in the morning, your brush is made out of plastic. I'm not saying use bamboo brushes. I'm not saying go out in the streams and gargle. I am only saying let's look at simple things that we can achieve by smaller actions, because we have to move from movements and activism towards our small actions. Every time you're not using a room in your school or your office or your home, shut the lights. Every time you're not using your washroom, ensure your heater is off, unnecessary lights are off. The last mile concept in our city, I'm trying to change that from moving from a rickshaw or a bike or a bus to walking it up. And I'm trying to make better footpaths in our city. Now that is for, of course, the government to do, but try to walk up the last mile. Every time you want to use the lift, if you're young, if you're fit enough, try to walk it up or walk it down. These smaller things are not just going to keep the planet better, but going to keep you healthier. The story of hope really starts from you. In the year 2017, we as the city of Mumbai collected waste every single day that amounted to 10,000 metric tons every single day. What we did as the BMC is appeal to the housing societies, and only about 30% of them have followed it. We're trying to go for more. We're going behind everyone as bulk generators. We said, if you're a bulk generator beyond 100 kgs, you will be left with your garbage in your own housing complex. We will not pick it up. The difference is they started segregating the waste. People came together. Citizens came together, and from 10,000 metric tons a day, within 6 months, we've come down to about 6,500 metric tons a day. We can go below it, or we can start protecting our planet by planting 1 tree in a lifetime, by using the footpath once in every single day, by switching off unnecessary lights, by having rainwater percolation pits or rainwater harvesting pits in our schools, our colleges, our homes. I think this is where hope lies, and hope lies in you. And therefore, I would like to thank the school management, Jairaj Thakkar sir, Sujay, Jasmine ma'am, all of you for inviting me, because this is not where I speak about hope, but this is where I draw hope from, the students and the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much for those insightful remarks, Mr. Thakre. Your powerful words, your ideas, your statements about how individual initiatives add up to institutional change deeply resonated with me. And I'm sure it has inspired all the participants here to do their bit for the environment. Your speech has definitely motivated every single one sitting here today. Thank you for helping to shape these minds for a better tomorrow. Before we move on, I'd like to remind all the Policy Dialogue participants to join their respective Zoom meetings, the details of which have been shared via email and can be found on our Padlet, which is accessible through the link in chat. All the 7 rooms will be open at 12 noon. Next up, we have a gripping panel discussion on the intersection of entrepreneurship and environmentalism. Let us give you a glimpse of what this discussion holds.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you burn me up, believer, believer. Hey, you burn me up, believer, believer.
Today's moderator is a lawyer by profession who found her calling in inspiring young minds to make a difference and instilling in them the principles of leadership, empathy, and compassion. She has a long list of accomplishments to her name, which include being a TEDx speaker, a founding member of the Rasta H.O.P.E, an organization dedicated to planting trees, the zonal head for the Children's Movement of Civic Awareness, and so many more that we couldn't begin to list. Please welcome Ms. Sonal Chhabria, our MYP coordinator.
Thank you so much, Arya and Davina, for such a kind introduction. In this social media age, our students have dreams. They admire and follow ordinary people who have extraordinary lives. Extraordinary lives are made by choices. Choices are made along the way, things and patterns we emulate from the people we admire. Mr. Narayan Murthy, he was the son of a school teacher. He built an empire. Jack Ma kept failing again and again. Today, he owns Alibaba. Today's discussion is centered around the lives of three amazing, diverse, ordinary individuals who lead extraordinary lives and are pioneers in their field. They believe in caring for the environment, and it is the first order of the day, and whose life stories will inspire our children to make their choices. I would like to apologize on behalf of Ms. Ravina Tandon. She was going to be here and she was unable to make it, but we will continue our discussion, and Mr. Amit and Mr. Angad will help me answer the questions that were slated for her. On the panel, we have Mr. Amit Gupta, an IIT graduate who founded Analytical Works, a company that has offered a platform for business intelligence. He is a co-founder of InMobi. InMobi was recognized by MIT as one of the top 50 disruptive companies in the world. Co-founder and CEO at Yulu, the manager of Infinity Research India. Welcome, Mr. Amit. I am sure our audience is keen to get motivated by your achievements. We also have Mr. Angad Daryani, an electrical engineer from Georgia Tech. He spends most of his time working on entrepreneurial projects in clean energy and AI space. He's a serial inventor. Can you imagine? He's a serial inventor at the age of 23. Welcome to Hope JNIS, and we hope that you will be our hope. Mr. Daryani, first and foremost, I am most fascinated about your homeschooling in the 9th and 10th grade. I am just unable to fathom the fact that your parents let you drop out of formal school. Can you take us through your journey from both angles, yours and your parents? And of course, please go on and tell the audience all about your innumerable achievements.
Fortunately, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with Amit. I think I'm a big fan. And it's great to see all of my teachers here on this call. I went to Jamnabai for IB, graduated in 2016. I think with school, I went to a state board school when I was much younger. And while we did well in school, I was, I think, fascinated with building technology. And it just so happened that my specific school at the time, was more focused on sports and other things. I think ended up dropping out of school, open school, didn't stop education. So I ended up giving the IGCSE and NIOS sports both. During the time, started working with the MIT Media Lab in Cambridge. And that time we built a bunch of health technologies for solving improving access to healthcare in rural India and Latin America at low cost, and eventually ended up at Jamnabai after that and worked on, I think, spent past 5.5, 6 years working on climate tech products.
Fantastic. My question here was, I'm very concerned about what your parents thought. It's at least in India, what happens is that we want formal education as parents. So, and it's very scary to think that our child will not be giving a proper exam or doesn't have a routine or may get into bad habits. So I want to understand your parent angle because we have a lot of parents watching you today.
I think it would be, they'd definitely be concerned if I weren't doing well in school before, or if I was dropping out for not being able to manage school. Fortunately, I think my dad had said this to someone who was questioning his decision at the time. He said, when you lose 1 year in 9th grade, it doesn't matter if things go south, but if things work out, it's a asymmetric opportunity, right? Where you know what the downside is, but the upside can be unlimited. So I think that was just a gamble at the time to see if things worked out. But I was fortunate, found the right tutor, and I still went just to the tutor's place for 6 or 7 hours a day, did my academics. I just didn't have homework because I saw the questions soon after it was taught to me. So yeah, I think there was a structure to the freedom.
Yes, I think that is most important, having a structure to the freedom. So all those children listening there, thinking that they're going to tell their parents, we can be an Angad, please understand he was doing a lot more.
So, Ms.
Yes.
Sonal, can I just take a minute? Would like to really thank our chief guest and keynote speaker, Mr. Aditya Thackeray, for being with us and motivating our children this morning. Thank you so much, Aditya. And he has given a lot of time this morning, and he has other commitment. So we will excuse him from here. Thank you once again, for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Aditya.
Yeah.
We will
Sorry,
see.
Ms. Sonal. Yeah.
Not a problem, not a problem. It's always lovely to begin a panel discussion with personal stories, and our students, Mr. Gupta, will recognize you as the fun person who's got the spark back into BKC with the Yulo bikes. I have my children telling me I'm going Yulo biking like it's some joyride, but I know it's far greater than a joyride. We would love to hear your journey and how it took you from being a serial entrepreneur. You've created 2 unicorns and you're building a 3rd to address social impact. And for the sake of a young audience, a unicorn is a startup with a valuation of over $1 billion. So being this person, you've actually wanted, and you didn't get tempted to create a decagon, and you moved towards social enterprise. So why and how, Mr. Amit, why have you changed your tracks?
First of all, thank you very much, Sonal and Angad, for bringing me to this amazing session. And my sincere thanks to Jairaj, Sujay, and Jasmine ma'am. It's a pleasure be in front of all of you. A very pleasing memory when we started in Mobi. Our office was not very far from your place. So I have fond memories of going from my home to Juhu area and passing your school. And only good things to say about your place. So it's a pleasure and honor for me to be here.
Thank you.
My journey actually indeed was a very ordinary person. I grew up in a city called Kanpur in a business family, and seeing the college bus, the IIT bus was very fascinating to me. That this is so cool. People who are going there, they are innovators and they're creators. And I only had a dream that maybe one day if I can even sit in that bus, forget going to the school. That itself was a big thing for me. I was very lucky to board that bus to go and study and stay there. And that shaped me as a person, both in terms of what one can achieve with hard work, but more importantly, the type of people I was surrounded with. They actually inspired me a lot to dream something bigger and build something which has not been done. Fast forward, yes, I was part of some professional organization, although they were all startups. But then I did my first startup with an analytics works, which was only 6 months journey, because then my other friends from IIT, they were like came back and said, why don't we do this technology startup, and was very fascinated. And that's how InMobi got started. InMobi was ahead of its time. We actually did not even have a smartphone. We had a small phone, Nokias, and we were talking to everyone, and that itself was a big deal. And back then we had a dream of that, everything will happen around this small device, and let's build a Google advertisement type of business model on this. And we happened to actually were able to see the vision. And now if you look at today's world, advertisement on mobile is the largest form factor, ahead of TV, desktop, you name it. And then I promised to myself, by the way, when I turned 30, I should be an entrepreneur, and which happened. And I also promised to myself, and more than myself, to my wife and my kids, that I will be retiring when I'm 40. And I was about to turn 40. And I was like, life is moving very fast. I'll take a fun thing to do where I just sit in some beach house, do nothing. And the idea.
And those are the famous last words, Mr. Amit. Famous last words. I will retire at 40.
Now the new date is 50 years. Let's see if I do. I honor that or not.
I doubt it. I'm sure you're going to be saving up planning
for my family. But luckily, when I step back, I said, 40 years, maybe I have 10 more years where I am physically fit, mentally fit, and I have a lot of, things to go back. And what will give me pleasure? And after a lot of introspection, talking to some mentors, answer was loud and clear, giving it back to the society. Probably that's the highest order thing of happiness one can do. And I was like, okay, this sounds cool. And maybe, if I have a lot of money, I become a philanthropist and do a lot of things which, some of our current very rich people are doing by giving to charity and so on. I happened to meet Nandan Nilekani, Ajim Premji and Bill Gates. And I saw what work they are doing with money and changing the world. But then I also realized that it's not like just you cut a check and everything will be all right. You really have to do very, very hard work. And I thought, okay, maybe I have a choice of waiting till 50 when I have maybe $500 million to really make a meaningful change. Or I actually put myself as an entrepreneur and pick up a social problem and do something about it. So long answer, but this background is important. What made me pursue this YOLO journey, and as a person very happy and committed to my work at Inmobi, my home and office around 3 kilometers in Bangalore. For those of you who have been reading about Bangalore, is notoriously famous for very, very bad traffic. When we moved into that office, my journey, 3 kilometer journey, used to take 7.5 minutes. In a car, by the way, I was kind of living a luxury life, don't care about the environment, who cares about it? And then this whole journey started becoming 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, and sometime I don't even know I'll reach home office or not. And this whole thing basically led me to thinking that if I am basically so privileged, I live literally next door, and what it is doing to me, and then not to talk, to miss the important point, the air which we are breathing, which is also filled with so much of pollutant, and we are impacting the climate and everything around that. And then I think I got my answer, that let me pick up this problem of traffic congestion and air pollution and maybe find some answer which can solve both of them. Just a data point, 1/3 of our problem of air pollution is contributed by all the traffic movement. So if you do something meaningful there, then there's actually a positive impact on air quality as well. And that's how YOLO was born. I'll hand it back to Sonal for further question. But this was the idea behind YOLO, that we actually change the way people are moving in big cities in a much more sustainable way. And we think that it is possible. I think we have proven a use case. We feel pretty good about it. We are India's largest electric mobility fleet now. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. And I think we have a pretty strong future going forward.
No, I'm sure it's a fantastic concept. And, other than helmets, etc., I think there are small issues that you have to overcome, but it's a fantastic initiative. And I'm so glad. I mean, after going into an IIT, I don't think that brain should retire. Brain needs to be working.
It needs a rest
and creating solutions for us and motivating us and our children to go forward. Angad, you are an innovator. I mean, I love the word, that serial innovator that you are. I want to understand this one quality that an innovator has is rejection, because you come up with an idea and you reject it in so many ways. I want to understand that. What advice? First of all, how do you face adversity and rejection, right? And secondly, what advice would you give our budding inventors? I mean, can you connect that with the environment? I want the students to understand how you deal with adversity. I think that's fantastic as an inventor.
Yeah, I think the challenge is, at least for people our age, and I think most of the students on this call, is not going to be that the opportunities don't exist. It's that convincing the right people that you are deserving of the next sort of level of progress, or the next milestone. That's not the challenge. The challenge itself is that there is a generational and thought process gap which exists when you try to make that happen. So I was very fortunate that last year we were turned down by more than, I think, 120, 130 investors around the world. And I was fortunate to have Amit as a mentor, and he was supporting me through that process, and making sure I was on the right track. But I think if you're not, I don't mean to say it in a very generic way, but if you're not failing frequently, then I don't think you're learning and making enough progress. Because if you're, I think, relying on what was done before recurringly to take the safe path, then you're not at the cutting edge. At Plan, fundamentally, I think our tech didn't really work for 3 years. Because there was not enough research papers on what we were trying to do. We had to learn through experimentation, which is a very slow and expensive process of trying to solve a problem. And I think as far as the end goal is, you have it in mind, and if you're really passionate about trying to solve a problem, then I don't think you're too concerned about adversity.
I think you're absolutely right, because what happens, especially with your generation, and our children though are even younger than what you are, the problem is that they are unable to deal with adversity. They tend to give up. Their span, their attention span is so little because they are multitasking with so many tabs open that I think this is a very important lesson. And when they hear it from someone as young as you, it's really nice. So, Mr. Amit, I want to understand that you're in the transport industry, okay? You're a person who funds startups. How do you know what to bet on? I mean, do you have a research and developmental team? Is it a gut feeling, or is it the qualities of a person that you're looking at when someone makes a presentation? So let's say our students want to make a presentation to you with so what is it that you're actually looking for?
I think what Ankar actually mentioned, it is actually the answer lies there. So first of all, I look for a very deep association of the problem which you're trying to solve. Don't come and say that, okay, I want to do this startup because it looks cool. I'm actually not inspired, because whatever is cool will become uncool after maybe a year or so. But a pain, rather a deep scar, which sticks with you, reminds you that, okay, this problem is important and I need to give my all. And I've seen that some of the best companies actually were made just because the founders behind those companies, they had a personal reason or revenge against that problem.
Correct.
And then they were committed enough to say that, okay, doesn't matter, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, my lifetime, I just want to work on this problem. Right. And I believe that if these two things happen, no matter how hard is the problem, it will actually get solved. And the result and the impact which will come out of that is actually going to be meaningful for many people who are also going through the same pain. And this is exactly what I look for. I actually don't care where some word is hot. So these days you must be hearing a lot about crypto startup, Web 3.0, and by the way, there's so many funky words. But yes, there's a lot of money to be made as an investor. But from my perspective, I actually love dreamers. I love innovators. I love people who want to make a real change. So from their intent to their ability to walk the talk is what I look at. And yeah, I'm actually very privileged to be part of some 40-45 entrepreneurs journey. I'm not actually an active investor, but I do find basically those people, and if they come to me for any help, I'm more than help. And that's what I do, by the way, when I'm free. People ask me about my hobbies. Yeah, I'm not into any music. I'm not into so many things. Entrepreneurship is what I truly enjoy. Spending time with entrepreneurs is what I love.
That's absolutely fantastic. I just want to make a little announcement before we continue our panel discussion. That all the students who need to join the rooms for their events, please go ahead and join the room. Zara, would you just let them know where to go, and then we will continue with our discussion on the main screen.
Absolutely.
there she is. Hello, Ravina. I think Ravina has managed to join us. A very good afternoon.
Sorry.
No problem,
I
Ravina.
had the
No
wrong
problem.
link. I had the wrong link. I could see and I could hear the entire meeting, but we were desperately trying access to get in. And then
Not a problem. Let me give you a very quick.
Attention.
Yes, I will just ask someone from the IT to pin your video so that you're on the screen with us, and then I'll give you a quick introduction with our two charming panelists. And I'm glad you could hear them because there's a lot to be learned from them. Thank you very much, Ms. Tandon, for being here. So Ravina, that's Mr. Gupta from Yulu Bikes, and Mr. Angad, who's a serial innovator, who is eventually planning, who's saving our planet by creating an air purifier that gives us pure air. Yes, am I right, Mr. Angad?
We do carbon capture, so CO2
Yes.
removal from the atmosphere. Yes.
That's who he is, and I don't think Ms. Ravina needs any introduction.
Oh, I do.
No, you don't. I'll tell you why you don't.
Your generation and my generation does, but all the students who are watching, they probably don't.
Yes, that is also true. But my introduction for Ravina was and is, and let me give it to you all, is that a face that turns 1,000 ships. Back in history, it was Cleopatra who had the charm, and today it's Ravina Tandon. The power to influence the public, and she has the power to reach small villages. She and her tribe have the power to create and influence a multitude. This power cannot be matched even if you create a unicorn or even if you're an acclaimed inventor, because when you have actors and sportsmen, every little villager, every little person knows them. I mean, Angad, we will save the planet and we will provide them with air, but the pretty face is who they look at and admire and want to listen. So Ms. Tandon, welcome.
That's exactly what we don't want to be just known as, just a pretty
No,
face.
it's not. It's not. It's your power of influence.
I know.
You can
actually sweet words you've said, Sonal. Really, really kind. But I think one thing that you very, very rightly pointed that, and I would like to tell this to all the students out there also, that there are so many in our younger generation now who aspire to either join sports or become athletes, and the glamour of it all, completely shines in their face. But that's not what it is all about. Being a celebrity also comes with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of moral responsibilities for the society that has given you so much, to give back in a way that only you will probably have the reach, and probably a common man won't have that kind of reach, to reach out to people who really matter, who can make the difference. And you have to be the catalyst who makes that difference, who goes towards a direction that you need people to follow and look up to you. And that is why that responsibility is so important, and it to be used right is very, very important. So it's just not all glamour and fun. So I'll be doing the IPL or I'll be a superstar. No, that's not where it begins and that's not where it ends. There is much more to that. And I think you very rightfully said that we can reach out to so many as a mass medium, even with the kind of work that we do.
Correct.
Especially cinema.
I just want to let the audience know that you have supported the protection of the Ari forest in 2019. You have supported Mission Pani on Environmental Day in 2020. She is an environmentalist. She's an ardent animal lover. She is the brand ambassador of Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and she's also adopted a leopard. So she is a brand ambassador. And, being a brand ambassador, I want to ask you a very, very simple question. That do you think you and celebrities and people who are famous, can you do a fantastic job without fear or favor? Because you are battling against greenwashing, you are battling against industrial Mongols who will be constant barriers. So I know you all have nothing to fear. I know that it's not necessary that you take or give favors, but for you to reach your goal, it is very, very difficult.
It is definitely tough. I think when you are a celebrity, of course, you are in the public eye, and the statements you make or the comments that you make is something that will be judged, analyzed, and probably even probably sometimes you're shamed for it, sometimes you are even probably lauded for it. So it's in either ways. There will always be two sides to a certain, two sides of a coin, and it's we have faced that. It was very, very strange, but I would like to mention this over here, that especially when we have social media that is up there in your face, you cannot kind of get away from it. And social media today also builds up very, very strong opinions. A lot of children are on social media, and what they read on social media also influences their mind a lot. And that also, to have a negative wave, to have the kind of trolling when you're trying to do something good, the kind of opposition that we faced even during the Save RA movement, which actually we are still facing now. There is still a lot of felling of trees that are happening. Sanjay Gandhi National Park has still about 30,000 encroachments, slums that are there, including some big pockets of land that are just encroached by even big builders. These are problems that one has been facing, and people who are very passionate about the forest and actually want to do their job somehow don't get allowed to do their job because of the bureaucracy that everyone faces. Yeah. And I've met such passionate forest officers in Sanjay Gandhi National Park, even the chief, even the DFO, and they all really want to do so much, but somewhere red tape and a lot of stuff that just binds them, and they cannot really do what they want to do. Unfortunately, the sufferers.
That's where you all come in. That's where you all come in, because you all can actually raise awareness in a way that a common man cannot. What do you think, Mr. Gupta?
So we did.
We
did. I think Amit will put in, and I don't know if Amit was witness to the entire Sanjay Gandhi, the RA, Save RA movement. But we faced a lot of opposition, and the main questions which I want to put to Amit is, actually what happens, Amit, is that the main trolling that we get back is that, oh, who are you to speak? You are roaming around in your SUV, and you are, wanting to kind of jeopardize the entire metro station plan, which is not what was the aim of it. The metro station had alternatives which could have been done, and that is the reason we were saying, if there is an alternative, let's do that. If it was a completely hopeless situation, obviously even we are sensible enough not to stand up there and say, okay, let's not have the station built in the middle of the forest, which have leopards coming, walking into people's apartments or the studios next door. So obviously there would have been many more fatalities as far as a leopard count also goes. So that is that was the main aim. And Sonal, the most interesting part is, every time when a film person like us would want to say something about RA or Sanjay Gandhi National Park, immediately what's thrown into our face is oh, then why don't you just break down Film City? I was like, I don't own Film City. In fact, I feel really sad that Film City is there. In fact, I'm the one who says, oh my God, stop the development even in Film City. No, y'all should break down Film City. You film people have created Film City. And the fact being that Film City actually is also owned by the state government.
Correct.
It is not a privately owned body. It's owned by the state government. All the revenue goes to the state government. Yes. So it is actually a sister body. Sanjay Gandhi National Park and RA are actually sister bodies, actually, and Film City. So it has nothing to do with me. So I remind people that, just to let you all know, that is also owned by the state government.
Thank you very much, because that needs to be brought to the forefront. Exactly. So, Mr. Amit, your views on entrepreneurship and environmentalism. To me, it's an intersection of business and environment. Do you think they can coexist? It's like me saying communism and capitalism can coexist. So this is actually a very deep question. And Angad, please chip in on that. Can environmental and entrepreneurship coexist?
Certainly. Before that, Ravina, congratulations on saving this whole development in RA. I live in Bangalore, but I've been watching that development very closely. it would have
Bangalore
been
needs a lot of saving too, dude. Bangalore used to be the garden city. What happened? Your lakes are foaming now. No, your lakes are foaming with toxic waste. We all have to work harder. We all have to work harder.
I agree. I think we all collectively need to do much more, but I'm glad that you have at least put your time and energy behind this cause. Much needed. Now, question regarding the entrepreneurship and environment and sustainability. So it used to be a cool topic. It used to be an optional topic that, okay, if I am rich, maybe I have a privilege of doing something. Maybe I'll go to some events. I'll just talk about this whole glamorous things. But I'll tell you where is my hope and my excitement, particularly on the work I'm doing. If I talk about electric mobility, where Yulu is trying to move people from petrol cars and petrol scooters to electric vehicles, it is actually not only environmentally much more sustainable and sensible, but it is also cheaper.
Correct.
I'll give you one example. A lot of us after COVID started clicking the phone to get our food, our groceries. And earlier those petrol scooters were being used to move this food and items to you. And there are a lot of people now who are using Yulu. And the cost of that delivery has come down by 35%. So this person who is kind of, he's not rich, he's a gig worker. He's actually earning close to 800 to $1,000. When his earning goes up by 35%, it's a lot of things.
Yes.
And same thing is true for large companies who are into, hyper local delivery. For them, this delivery cost is very, very meaningful. So also they want to reduce it to an extent possible. So being sustainable is no longer a rich people phenomena. It's actually a person who is just, just trying to earn his livelihood. Even he is actually better off choosing a more sustainable way to commute. Second thing you must have been reading, there's a concept of ESG, which is getting a lot of traction. There are a lot of public companies who basically now start publishing their ESG rating, and any company which has got poor or low ESG rating will get more and more problems in their stock price and their future. Which means, once again, it's not an optional good to have thing. You ought to be sustainable. You ought to be making sure that the world around us is also not getting dinged. And this is where my own excitement comes into picture, where companies like Yulu, we are not an NGO. I did have this thought when I was at a junction after Inmobi, should I pursue an NGO to solve this problem? But then I realized, no, NGO means that I need to go and raise funding from people who have money. Why can't we make an organization which is generating so much of profit so that the impact can be much larger?
Correct.
So I now believe that someone can go pursue entrepreneurship and make our world much more sustainable. Yes. And I see hope for that. Yulu is one example. I see companies like Angad, who is again for profit, doing something better for the organization, for the world and for the environment. So that's how I look at it.
I just want to know the full form of ESG, and Ravina, you can of course say what you want to, but I just need to know the full form.
Okay, so E stands for environment, S for sustainability, and G for governance. And governance is more about that you are doing the right thing, and literally not only the way you are managing your books, but there are also basically a lot of talks about bringing much more diversity. So now they want you to see women board directors. Otherwise, the board member was full of males. They want more people from different backgrounds. And all of these things are now reflecting your stock price in a very meaningful manner. And that's where I think the world is becoming better. At least that's what I tend to believe right now.
No, definitely it is. Ravina, you wanted to say something?
I'm sorry, because I've come in a little late. I don't know if this point was picked up. But, saving the environment and the fact of development. You asked him about
entrepreneurship, yes.
Entrepreneurship. Sorry, I'm actually but whenever we have tried to do something, there has been a kind of backlash on us that whenever environmentalists try to go and make a difference or try and speak up, that they are anti-development.
Correct.
Now, that is a very, very strong point that I want to put across, is when I'm giving another example again of RA. But on the whole, I have seen this happen. That whenever we try to say something about that there are alternatives or there is a way that we can work around it, or when highways are cutting through forests, and then you see so many, just recently in Gujarat, a young male tiger, only 4 years old, a young male lion was run over by a truck. And it was so sad. There's so many leopards we see being run over all over India. There was a tiger death that happened just recently in Maharashtra. So it is really sad that when we see these beautiful creatures, being literally, we've invaded their homes, and then we're building on top of it. So there are alternatives. So nobody is against development.
Yes.
You want to build the highway, but see to it that there is animal passage and animal movement freely, and we don't block that.
So why do you think
highways, where you have these huge pillars? So what I'm trying to say is that there are alternatives. So even with metro station, there was an alternative. The idea of turning RA, which is a green lush and which has so many animals and wildlife, and we have in the entire insect thing happening there. We have a butterfly park that is being planned over there near it. So why go in when we have an alternative to do things elsewhere and sell off chunk by chunk lands that becomes, gets into development?
So where is the think tank? My question is, when we have a governance, when we have a government, and it's not that we don't have IAS officers and intelligent people or businessmen or inventors who are all around. All of us are highly intelligent. We have motivators like you, Ravina. I want to understand, why is this alternate thinking not coming in? I mean, does anyone have an answer for that? I mean, I definitely don't. I cannot figure out why. They were saying metro banao, underground banao, make it underground, don't make it overground. I want to know, I want to understand that how is
with the underground issue, Sonal, I can speak for it because I know what happened, is wherever they could make it underground,
they did.
A lot of civic bodies got into it and a lot of arms, and they were agreed. See, it was a much more expensive process, right? So it was from the taxpayers' fund or what, the whole system. So where they thought that it would be really expensive and unaffordable, I think, for example, South Mumbai, in Mumbai, put a lot of pressure and they kind of managed to make it underground. But the same did not happen for North Mumbai. Whereas there were, when in Bandra, when this thing came up, all civic bodies got together and said, no, take it underground. And we are ready to pay for whatever, it is going to be taxed onto us, tax us extra for that. But everybody is not the same. So I think it was quite a unanimous kind of a vote that happened in Bandra, but then there weren't we didn't have the kind of backup that we wanted to have from other areas. So there were issues. See, again, you can't really, blame governance for this to a certain extent.
No. I'm saying populace has to take it into their own hands, just the way Bandra did.
Exactly. They have to be more aware, people who stand up, and instead of being ignorant to the entire thing and just trolling for the sake of trolling, one has to understand the issues and then talk about it and look for alternatives. So I do believe that whether he's saying entrepreneurs or developers, I feel environment and this can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
It just needs that little extra effort. That little extra effort, that little extra money, little extra effort, nobody's willing to.
I think it's mindsets. So Angad, I think I was talking to you about this. How do we bring, a lot of us are looking at environment and we're saying calling it a social cause, but how do we bring it into the mainstream? How do we make it second nature? Have you ever thought of that? I mean, because you're a thinker, I'm asking you, have you ever thought of it should be second nature to all of us? It should be second nature to all my students who are watching you today, that this is just the way of life. Do you have any opinions on that?
Yeah, right. So I think what's very exciting for our generation is that today we stand at the brink of a new industrial revolution.
Correct.
So it is an exciting and prosperous and innovative time to come, right? The reason why companies like Microsoft and Stripe and all these other guys take the time to chat with people like us and invest all these resources into making our products reach at scale is because they're planning for what lies for the next 50 years. Right? Now, I think the other question which came was like, why are people who, like, even though these ideas exist, why are they not being implemented today? I think people like to stay in their comfort zone and not move around too much, right?
Yeah.
And so to make that change happen, from a psychological angle, people are motivated by money and people are motivated by looking good, right? So climate can make you do both.
Yes.
Right. So many of our clients, I hate to be this way. Like some of them are exceptional. Like I love working with Tata Steel, Aditya Birla, amazing companies. Really want to do the right thing, right? And there's others who go out of their way because it helps them look good, right? Either way, the outcome is positive for the environment. Either way, the future becomes exciting. So if you're tackling these two, you're able to address it from a capitalistic standpoint. Now, how do you integrate it into people's daily lifestyle is to make it exciting, not seem like a responsibility or scare them off.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So Trans UI UX team had been given very clear instructions for the past 2 years, which was that there cannot be negative reinforcement in our app, in our software. Right, so we built this platform called Edith, which was inspired by Marvel movies. I think the students here would know Edith from Spider-Man. And the idea was that Edith gives you lifestyle insights based on your environment. So what time should your kid go out to get vitamin D3 in Delhi, which is the least polluted for their health? Or, we have bioacoustics built into our Mark 1 devices, which can tell you the bird and insect species around your house. With the devices which are already installed around you. Or, hey, what's the least polluted route to run on in the city with Pran's data platform, right?
Oh, nice.
So we're not throwing graphs in your face, right? What we're doing is giving you one subtle insight through a notification, should you want to have it, and get you addicted to the fact that you want to take the healthier route every single day. So it's only positive reinforcement, no responsibility, no liability, and you should look good and feel good about it. That's when you'll do it.
Yeah, fantastic. I completely agree with you. So, in this COP26, how Mr. Aditya was speaking, the first word that was thrown around was circular economy, right? We need to bring a lifestyle change for the environment. We need to have mindful consumption. We need to make conscious choices. So we need to take these words, mindful consumption, conscious choices, and we need it to reach the multitude. We need the help of people who can touch their soul, which are, of course, mainly in the world, movie stars and sportsmen. So, Ms. Ravina, your industry, where there is, your industry is a kind which says, cannot repeat clothes, bags, jewelry, it's always looked down upon. Do you think celebrities should join hands? Should they create thrift shops? Can they create a system of clothes on hire, swap shops? Do you see this trend in the future? I mean, would you pioneer something like that?
First and foremost, I would beg to differ on one point that you just said, that my industry is where we don't repeat clothes or repeat handbags. That is not true.
Because when we look at y'all, so glamorous, I don't think we would have seen y'all in repeat an outfit.
Because we don't buy them.
Oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
just to give you a plain and simple fact, we don't buy them. They're sent to us by stylists who want their name out there and create awareness about their brand, and hence that is the reason. But when you buy them, and when I buy my things, I repeat, I re-accessorize. It's the media that doesn't allow us to repeat our things, because the minute we've worn something again and they photographed it again, they put it out there saying, oh, she wore it again. So what? I spent money on it, dude. I don't have a money-making machine here. I don't have a money-making factory here. And I will spend that, and I will wear that dress at least 10 times before I hand it over to someone else to wear and then return it to me. So
the mindsets have to change, right? It's more than the media. It is your industry that has to turn around and say, I do it. Hey, today I'm wearing Ravina's, I have borrowed this from Ravina, and I have borrowed this from Katrina, and it doesn't matter. So, I mean, I think mindsets have to change. And I think we are, my most favorite part of any panel discussion is, if I was Karan, it was Coffee with Karan. I would love to have a buzz around where we could do a 30-second answer. And can I just do a 30-second quick question round with you?
You asked me a question. I didn't get to answer the question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Wait, Sonal.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you did ask me. So I just
take on an initiative.
Yes. So just to tell you that as far as the industry is concerned, we have been all along and have always been on the forefront of all sorts of social causes. Now, it is up to every celebrity to decide and to have a moral responsibility as to what they want to associate themselves with. If you do see that a lot of films on climate change and a lot of films on global warming are also made by this very same film industry.
Correct.
So the thing is that we have the medium to reach out to the kind of people that you on an individual level probably would not be able to. As far as we are concerned, if you see whether it's for animal welfare or it is for the environment, this industry stands every time. There are so many of us who I actually use my cycle and go to Otters Club. It's near my house. I don't use my car. I cycle it. And everyone says, oh, people don't recognize you. I said, even if they do, they say hi and I say another hi back. There's no big deal. So that's the great thing. So if you see Salman probably cycles to his shoot and cycles back. There's so many times he cycled all the way to Film City and back. We are all waiting for electric cars and we're waiting for Ulu to give us some more great insights in how this would, be sustainable for all of us with kind of creating the kind of, infrastructure that we will need for electric cars to come in. But trust me, our industry will be the first to jump onto electric cars. So the fact being that there are people who are like-minded and they do think everyone has a cause and everyone feels deeply and passionately for something, because ultimately the main thought is what kind of a planet are we handing over to the next generation? They will hold us responsible for the damage that we've done. Maybe my generation, our earlier generations, for the kind of damage that we have done so far to the planet.
Right.
So to drive the point across that we all are thinking, in fact, I'll tell you another thing. We all have many, many ways in which we even contribute. I have, like you say, a lot of these stylists, they send us clothes and stuff. We probably do, use them for a certain shoot, but a lot of them that come, which I've not even worn, are actually given off to a foundation. Now, let me tell you where it all goes. Since we started with the clothes topic, it goes to a foundation, and that foundation auctions off these clothes and sells off these clothes, and all that is used. And the last time that it was funded for the Tadoba Park, where we bought solar heaters for the water in winter for the entire Tadoba forest. So there were solar panels that were bought out of that foundation, out of the clothes that we wore. So in our own ways, we try to do as much as we can and wear all we can. And so honestly, I think our industry, in fact, I don't know how much our sports people are involved in doing this, but as far as our industry is concerned, our medium is probably much easier, where we can reach out to thousands and crores of people. And hence the kind of movies also that we make, that we put the message across.
Yes. So my last question for you, Mr. Amit, what is the number one way we as a community can make a substantial difference?
I think Ravina also already touched at least some of the ideas, and Aditya was also very kind to speak about what we can do as a community. I don't know how many of you are aware, but New Zealand just passed a law that anyone who is less than 10 years right now will never get to buy tobacco in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Fantastic. I didn't know that.
Which means 8 years from now, a typical person who become an adult starts smoking, which is very common outside of India, actually. They will never be smoking in their lifetime. Fantastic. This is permanent by law. Now imagine the power of similar thinking, where we are thinking 10 years ahead of us. all of these, future generation, which is happen to be part of a lot of participants today, if we basically put this down either by habit or by law, where you will be wearing this dress X number of times, you'll not be using this paper napkin, whether you will carry a handkerchief or you'll be walking for this much of distance, and small things, all of these things will cumulatively be put together in a very massive change. We also, when COVID happened, the air quality suddenly became AQI was 25. None of us believed, by the way. We all were like, okay, my car is not polluting this environment because I want my luxury and my comfort. The possibility of collective action where each one of us start making those small choices is humongous. And then it is a mindset, because once we understand there's a cost, there's an economic cost of me doing this, I think we'll all will align. And this is where I would like to conclude that at least when this kind of initiative is coming from the students and school like yourself, it is actually going to inspire a lot of our future generation. Now let's look at Delhi. Sorry for tangential point, but today's generation in NCR, Delhi, they don't want to burst cracker anymore.
Yes.
Because school made them sign the pledge, soft heart, whatever. But now they are very conscious that when I burn this cracker, this is the impact which is happening. Same way when I'm getting into the car, when I'm misusing this resource, switching on my light for no reason when I'm not in the room, all of that start to count. And I think this is where probably will be a much better off as a society, as a humanity. Right. And this is my.
I would just like to interject a little, adding to his point that I think a lot of help from the infrastructure also is necessary. A lot of children, a lot of youth actually want to cycle, but unfortunately we don't have the cycling lanes. So there's a lot that can be done and needs to be done. For example, if we all do as a society change our mindset, it also becomes easier for the governance to make these changes and apply these laws.
Correct.
When in Mumbai, the BMC, I was on a panel where I had suggested, and we were on a BMC panel to talk about hygiene and cleanliness about the city. The BMC actually took one of my suggestions and they started manpower, and they were called they were actually manning roadsides and everything where spitting had been banned, where there was fines on spitting, fines on littering, and we actually kept manual power to collect these fines, or they were actually like monitors on everywhere. So many of them, poor guys, got beaten up by shopkeepers or someone who were littering outside their shops, and when they would go to impose these fines, these poor guys got beaten up. So that was an idea that the BMC tried. Another thing that was when the law came that the cars will become much more expensive, which I thought was a great law, because following Singapore, where the cars are completely criminally expensive, each family is not allowed to buy more than 2 cars so that they keep the pollution in check. There was a big hue and cry that why are the prices going up? So I think it is even our mentality that we have to change, and when these kind of laws do come in, it's easy to implement these kind of laws. But what about the public hue and cry? Hence, this younger generation has to be more aware and realize if this is happening, ultimately this is leading to the betterment of us.
Correct. Absolutely said. And with that thought, we would like to conclude this fantastic panel discussion because we've gone a little above time. And I personally feel that Mr. Angad, Ms. Ravina, Mr. Amit, they are leaders in their field, where they balance environment and business. Business relating to the environment is not charity, and it can be quite profitable. The need of the hour is to take climate action seriously. The key is action. They are leaders. They are the ones who cut through the noise and articulate a North Star for their company's future. Thank you for being with us today. Let's all make individual choices for a better future, move from the ordinary to the extraordinary, just like them. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for those insightful remarks, panelists. I'm sure that this panel discussion has inspired all of us present here to be a little more mindful about the depleting environment. Thank you so much for joining our opening ceremony. Our event rooms will commence now. You will find a link in the chat. We request all the participants and spectators to join their respective rooms. In these rooms, all the participants will interact with the judges, finalists, and the event curators. We hope to see you all joining back for the closing ceremony at 1:15 p.m. IST on the same link. We hope you have a day filled with innovations and learnings as well as fruitful discussions. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine, for inviting me.
Yes, thank you, Mrs.
Yes.
Vaz, for your presence. Yeah.
I was just going to tell you, I think whoever is remaining, I can tell them.
Yeah.
Chhatrabhuj Narsi, who's Jairaj Bhai's dad, once told me personally, he said, I have done enough harm by manufacturing cigarettes. Now it is my atonement to start as a phoenix. And that is why I've started Jamnabai Narsi School, for the welfare of the community. And knowing what we charged as fees, it was less than 80 rupees a month at the beginning, and quality education right through. So welfare can be created with the mindset change. Thank you for the opportunity that I was there right through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Vaz, for sharing that. Yeah, for sharing that with all the students here. It's really important for them to know the legacy what our school has, and the cause behind, and the vision of our management. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We shall see you all. Thank you for being with us and encouraging our students, principals and teachers, and parents and guests. The students have gone into their respective rooms. They are the first four of each category, and they have got a fantastic set of judges who are going to be judging them. And we will come back for the award ceremony in a while. So
Thank you, Sonal.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Kanika, we can put the, we will see you at 1:15 slide, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Rini. Supposed to start now. Good afternoon, Daksh.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Saisha joining.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Saisha. All competitions over in the other rooms or not yet?
Not yet.
How is it going in the other rooms? The events must be quite interesting. Induction session. How is it going? Did you get a chance to go on into different rooms to see, witness it?
Yes, Miss. It seems to be going well. The heads are handling it well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are quite funny as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chance to drop off in some of the rooms, and the level of speaking and presentation that was being done and performed by the students was really, really fantastic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sasha Pal.
I'm Daksh Moore, and we are the heads of Ecotopia.
And we're going to be conducting the closing ceremony.
The great author Wendell Berry once said, "The earth is what we all have in common." And I don't think I could agree more with him. What do you think, Sasha?
Yes, in a rather simple way, this brilliant quote highlights the responsibility of each human. It is our duty to protect the earth and preserve its nature. However, maybe along the course of development and urbanization, we have lost sight of what is truly important. From its dense green forests to vast blue oceans, our planet Earth is home to an immense number of 8.7 million species, and it is the reason for our existence as humans. And now, due to our negligence, destroying it will be the reason for our end. There is a climate crisis, pollution, global warming, deforestation. We do not understand the intensity of the situation. We do not understand the horrors that we have inflicted upon our environment.
This has to change. And today, you took the first step towards achieving this change. We are more than happy to announce that after months of meticulous planning, H.O.P.E 2021 has been a huge success, bringing us one step closer to achieving a pollution-free Earth. Today, we looked at various fantastic initiatives, ranging from the policy dialogue to expressing our creative sides through poems and posters, each trying to reach a common solution. With candidates from across 15 countries, we were able to share our perspectives and exchange ideas. Though we may be from disparate cultural backgrounds, we all had a common mission in mind, and this is what brought us closer together.
On behalf of JNIS, we thank all of you for attending our first ever global summit and helping create a difference. We have also created an ebook with the sustainable solutions from each event for schools and individuals to implement these ideas. This will be shared within all of you within the next few days. Each of you will also be receiving a certificate of participation. Now, we will be presenting a video created by our press team, which highlights the events of today.
Species brought together to live and revel in the paradise that is our planet Earth.
Act now. What each one of us will do or will not do will impact people in the city, country, and world at large.
We are extremely pleased to see our students leading the fight against it with this initiative.
We are facing two crises around our planet, which are probably the tipping point of humanity. They will decide whether we survive on this planet or not: COVID and climate change.
And it is the first order of the day, and whose life stories will inspire our children to make their choices.
The purpose of a policy dialogue is to deliberate on changes to existing policies so that it favors all stakeholders, and in our case, the environment. How do you propose that shutting down all the non-renewable industries would? How do you propose we'd solve unemployment in that case? Like, how do you back that point up?
So basically, renewable energy resources is a growing industry, and we will need everlasting sources of labor for that. So we can easily provide more jobs in the future.
Each one of you individuals is so talented, and your voice is so much louder than you imagine.
It's God's own treasure. Keeping it pristine should be our pleasure. Majestic mountains and lush green trees, blossoming flowers with buzzing bumblebees, tree-covered forests and tranquil lakes are home to fierce animals and shiny poisonous snakes.
expansion, humans worked against the planet instead of with it, destroying it bit by bit.
Vantika in the 4th place, and our first qualifier is Darsh Yadav. The first participant on the podium is Ritika Garg, followed by our runner-up Arshi Roy Vishnu, and finally the winner of round 1 is Noika Bose Sengupta. Congratulations to all of the winners.
Most of all, a huge thank you to the participants. It is you that have made the event successful. Your
community. Airlines, hotels, and event managers should create a system for collecting extra food and deliver it to the needy. Plant trees, practice kitchen and terrace gardening and vertical planting. Conduct donations.
We install a solar panel or any solar lighting system that works on the principle of converting solar energy into electric energy, which also means photovoltaic effect. The first question that comes to our mind is to capture the maximum energy of the sun and the angle of installation of the solar panel.
Over the course of the last month, participants have taken part in the 6 activities conducted by the H.O.P.E team. All our participants have presented us with some fantastic entries which were looked upon by our expert judges with no connection to any of the schools participating. Needless to say, they were faced with a massive challenge while picking the top 4 entries for each event. Over the last 4 hours, the winners displayed their work to a set of judges, and after rigorous hours, we are thrilled to finally reveal the names of our winners. I would now like to call upon Ms. Kanika and the Deputy Head of School, Mr. Michael Gramlich, to announce the winners of each event.
Good afternoon and welcome to all of the participants around the world today. It's been an absolute pleasure to drop into all of the rooms and see the amazing discourse that's going on. So many different faces and so many different brilliant ideas. And thank you very much for allowing me to be part of the celebrations and to tell you about some of the winners. How are we going to go first, Ms. Kanika?
So we have a little video that we can watch that kind of will show us what a little, the little snippets about the different events that happened. And let me just share that with you.
Put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. They charge the people $1.50 just to see.
We're going to take just a minute or two in order to tally up the final votes, the final results from today. But before we do, I think I'll go ahead and do some thank yous for the team. First of all, as always at Jamnabai, we thank our managing trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakur for his leadership and continual energy in keeping us together and working and moving forward. And of course, our trustee, Shri Sujay Jairaj, who is always thinking about the future and has always got a new idea that we are challenged to put into effect. Thank you very much for your guidance and for your continual support. Of course, we have to thank our head of school, Ms. Jasmine Madhani, who is eternally active and forward-looking and always thinking about how we can make these events a little bit better, how we can engage more people, and how we can make sure that the learning that happens here in an event or in the classroom actually affects the real world. So thank you, Ms. Madhani, very much. A couple of the teachers who have been powerful and constant and diligent, consistent leaders for this program coming up. Ms. Ritika Chowdhury has been in school for extra hours and hours and hours. We have to thank her very much. And we also have to thank my partner here for the final events, Ms. Kanika Shah, who is an absolute tech genius and organizational mastermind, and we're very lucky to have her. The students, of course, are the ones who drive everything, and many dozens of our students have spent extra hours along the way to put together all of the different graphics that you've seen, the videos, to organize the events, to make sure that the flow of all of the different competitions has been going well. We need to have a special little thank you for all of you, but specifically for Arya and Davina and for Saisha and Daksh, who have been our leaders. Thank you very much along the way. I will save a final thank you for our intrepid leader, Ms. Sonal Chabria, until the end of the results. And we will get those results to you in just 1 second. We will share some of the videos compiled along the way. We're still waiting for 1 or 2 results because there are so many competitors, so we're going to share 1 or 2 short videos along the way. Please be patient and stay with us. We want everyone to hear the names of all of the winners.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warning.
It's the meaning of our life.
Weil wir
Really?
vor einer
We must view it as a call to action. In office, I withdrew the United States from the unfair, ineffective,
what is happening back home that is hanging over his head here. Allies want to hear that America can.
Climate Accord. You just have to make a choice to do it.
Every day, I made a decision to protect the only place I call Earth.
She tells us that we have 2030 or 2050. It's now.
Entire ecosystems are
You've got to be
collapsing.
worried about
We are
now.
at the beginning of a mass extinction.
Only move together towards the future.
Now.
So united we rise, and together we will definitely succeed.
Breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system flow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age.
Species brought together to live and revel in the paradise that is our planet Earth.
Act now. What each one of us will do or will not do will impact people in the city, country, and world at large.
We are extremely pleased to see our students leading the fight against it with this initiative.
We are facing two crises around our planet, which are probably the tipping point of humanity. They will decide whether we survive on this planet or not: COVID and climate change.
And it is the first order of the day, and whose life stories will inspire our children to make their choices.
The purpose of a policy dialogue is to deliberate on changes to existing policies so that it favors all stakeholders, and in our case, the environment. How do you propose that shutting down all the non-renewable industries would? How do you propose we'd solve unemployment in that case? Like, how do you back that point?
So basically, renewable energy resources is a growing industry, and we will need everlasting sources of labor for that. So we can easily provide more jobs in the future.
Each one of you individuals is so talented, and your voice is so much louder than you imagine.
It's God's own treasure. Keeping it pristine should be our pleasure. Majestic mountains and lush green trees, blossoming flowers with buzzing bumblebees, tree-covered forests and tranquil lakes are home to fierce animals and shiny poisonous snakes.
expansion, humans worked against the planet instead of with it, destroying it bit by bit.
We have Avantika in the 4th place, and our first qualifier is Darsh Yadav. The first participant on the podium is Ritika Garg, followed by our runner-up H.O.P.E Roy Vishnu, and finally the winner of round 1 is Noika Bose Gupta. Congratulations to all of the winners.
Most of all, a huge thank you to the participants. It is you that have made the event successful. Your
Community. Airlines, hotels, and event managers should create a system for collecting extra and delivered to the needy. Plant trees, practice kitchen and terrace gardening and vertical planting. Conduct donations.
We install a solar panel or any solar lighting system that works on the principle of converting solar energy into electrical energy, which also means photovoltaic effect. The first question that comes to our mind is to capture the maximum energy of the sun and the angle of installation of the solar panel.
Ours is a common mission to look without fear or despair at the challenges ahead in this crucial decade.
People are mistaken when they think that technology just automatically improves. It does not automatically improve. It only improves if a lot of people work very hard to make it better. And actually, it will, I think, by itself degrade, actually.
The greenhouse gases we put into the atmosphere, particularly CO2, stay there for thousands of years. And so it's really the sum of all those emissions are forcing the temperature higher and higher, which will have disastrous effects.
follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. God, I never loved one like you. Boats and waterfalls, alleyways and pitfall calls. I'll be here everywhere with you. We laugh until we think we'll die, barefoot on a summer night. Nothing new is sweeter than with you. And in the street we run free, like it's only you and me. Geez, you're something to see. Oh, oh, let me go home. Home is whenever I'm with you. Oh, oh.
Sends a powerful signal. The world is firmly committed to a low-carbon future.
Millions of jobs, and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake.
So I believe this moment can be a turning point for the world.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your patience. Obviously, there's a lot of data to be gathered, and a lot of the competitions had lots of different competitors, and we wanted to make sure that each of them were represented and that their fantastic achievements are on the screens here. So we will get started with announcing some of the winners, and we will start with Rhythms and Rhymes in the under 10 division. Before we start reading names, please excuse me or please excuse us if we don't pronounce everyone's names perfectly. We have a lot of different people from different cultures here, and just like we respect the winners, and just like we respect the environment, we want to respect everyone's name. So please be patient if we don't get all of the names perfect. Your third place in Rhythms and Rhymes under 10 was Vivan Shah. Well done, Vivan. In second place was Aventika Davidson. And in first place, congratulations to your winner, Kritika Pundir. For Rhythms and Rhymes in year 10 grade age 10 to 12, congratulations to third place, Jayali Pal, to second place, Udita Sharma, and to first place, Zahabia Murtuza. Congratulations. For Zany Zines Corner, under 10 years old, in third place, congratulations to Reina Chada. Second place, well done, Naisha Ajmera. And in first place, congratulations to our winner, Stravya Shah. Congratulations, Stravya. For Zany Zines, grade ages 10 to 12, in third place was Aruna Junjanwala. In second place was Laisha Agarwal. And in first place, well done to Zahabia Murtaza. For Zany Zines, some of these different competitions had about 5 or 6 different age groups, so it's wonderful to see so many different competitors and different ages taking place. For ages 12 to 14, third place was Arima Agarwal. Well done, Arima. In second place, Vivika Puranik. Well done, Vivika. And in first place was Danika. Zany Zines, ages 14 to 16. Third place was Pratiksha Gurung. In second place, Tivisha Mehta. And in first place, congratulations to Krishnaram. And finally, for the seniors, Zany Zines, 16 to 18. Well done, third place, Kushi Suri. Well done, even a little bit more to silver medal, Srini Mutta. Please excuse my poor pronunciation, Srini Mutta. And congratulations to your gold medal winner, who was Mohana Semgutta. Congratulations to all of those competitors.
For the Pictures for Progress under 10, in third place we have Veer Gorodia. In second place we have Prisha Arora, and the winner is Vedant Shah. Congratulations. For the Pictures for Progress age group 10 to 12, in third place we have Shankrit. In second place we have Naveen Santosh, and in the first place we have Yavi Muntra. Congratulations, everybody. In the age group 12 to 14, we have Mahua Agarwal in third place, Mritika Das in second place, and Ria Sheth has won the gold medal in this category. In the age group of 14 to 16, we have Rishi Shetty in third place, Pia Santani in second place, and Shreya Prasad, our very own JNIS student, in first place. In the age group for 16 to 18, in third place we have Sanaya Nair. In the second place we have Archita Panwar, and the winner is Priyambada Muntra. Congratulations, everybody.
And congratulations on the improved pronunciation of names. For the essay competition, and I know that the level of writing was extremely high. This have been coming in for a while. Essays under 10 years of age. Congratulations to Rihanna Kapadia, who is third place, Divya Doshi in second place, and your gold medal winner, Shravya Shah. Congratulations. Essay 10 to 12, third place was Sana Verma, second place was Arya Shrivastava, and in first place, congratulations to Noya Nika Semgutta, gold medal for you. In the essays, 12 to 14, third place was Sia Joshi, in second place was Ria Shet. And in first place, congratulations to Anushka Tandon of JNS. Essays from 14 to 16, your third place winner is Deepanwita Ghosh. In second place is Samar Unial. And in first place was Sharoda. Sharoda. Congratulations. From Alpha International. Ages 16 to 18, third place was Aditya Mukherjee. In second place was Aryaman Shrivastava. And congratulations to your winner, Ramsha Alam.
The Ecotopia winners for under 10 are Daksh Singh Mehta in third place, Reyansh Jain in second place, and the winner is Rudra Jaiswal. Congratulations. For the age group 10 to 12, the bronze was Darsh Yadav. Second place was Noyonika Bose Sengupta. And in first place was Arshi.
Your winners for Sustainable Innovations Ideas, ages 10 to 12. In third place is our very own Amira Merchant. Well done, Amira. In second place, Arya Saxena. And in first place, your gold medal winner was Ronak Sabana. Sustainable Evolutions 12 to 14. Third place, Hayanshi Tanuka. Congratulations. In second place, Mr. Javier Kocher, and your gold medal goes to Sayanch Kaparaya. Congratulations, Sayanch. Ages 14 to 16, third place, congratulations, Gia Atta. In second place, Somia Ambaransan, congratulations. And your winner gold medal, Varun Nayar. And another one of our big competitions, only 2 medal winners here. Second place, congratulations, Anjane Lap. And first place gold medal to Navya Madan.
For the policy dialogue, in room 1, we had Jay Kevaramani at third place. We have Pia Santani in second place. And Hriday Adani is the winner in this room. Congratulations. For the second room for the policy dialogue, we have Precious Jain in third place. We have Saivya Singh, who was the runner-up, and the winner was Dhruv Pare. Congratulations.
School delegation winners getting up to some very lofty heights here. And we are going to mention the names of a lot of the schools who have been taking part, but we really do want to thank all of the teachers and heads of school and facilitators who have made sure that their students are getting online and getting involved, and thank you very much. Your third place delegation is PBSL of Lonavla. Thank you very much for taking part. Your second place winner is the Sanskar School from Jaipur. Love to have some people from Rajasthan with us. And congratulations to the overall schools winner, which was the Modern High School for Girls in Calcutta. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing all of you. Again, congratulations to all of our winners and participants. We appreciate so much you being with us. Are we going to go back to the name? Okay, I will then pass over to your closing host for the day. Thank you very much, everyone, again, and congratulations over to Saisha and Dash.
With the event coming to an end, we would once again like to express our gratitude to our wonderful school managing trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar, who always puts his faith on the students and encourages them. Our trustee, Shri Sujay Jairaj, who is the vision behind this mission, head of school, Ms. Jasmine Madani, and her co-team. Finally, the MYP coordinator, Ms. Sonal Chabria, without whom this event would have not been possible. H.O.P.E 2021 would have not been half as successful if Ms. Sonal wasn't there to keep guiding, encouraging, and pushing us to do our best.
We would further like to thank Ms. Ritika Chaudhary, who has helped us since day one in the organization and coordination of the event. The amazing judges who cooperated with the H.O.P.E team and were extremely supportive of our cause. The brilliant panelists and remarkable keynote speakers, Mr. Amit Gupta, Mr. Angad Daryani, Mr. Aditya Thakre, and Ms. Ravina Tandon, who gave a spectacular start to the first ever H.O.P.E event. We couldn't have asked for better speakers than them.
And most importantly, the phenomenal H.O.P.E 2021 presidents, Ahan Shah and Zara Merchant, who have worked tirelessly and ensured each detail of the event went about flawlessly. The extraordinary leadership skills and sensational team spirit always kept us motivated and inspired us to do better.
Our outstanding events, led by Arman Chabra, Ananya Bivi, Ahan Shah, Dev Chaveri, Priyansha Agarwal, Ishita Kapadia, Ishana Das Gupta, Shreya Prasad, Sara Mukhtiar, Saina Pal, and Samia Chatwal, and our teachers who helped with each event.
We would also like to mention all the others who have helped shape this event, beginning with the movie team led by Maulik Harya, Tashvi Kapoor, and Anand Vora. The social media team led by Ahana Makhija, Kaira Santhu, and Amira Makhija. The registration and communication team, consisting of Tanisha Agarwal, Trisya and Tisha. The ebook team led by Arya and Davina. The tech team led by Riya Dangi and Jayendra Mangal. And finally, the press team.
And last but not the least, our incredible Ecotopia head, Saisha Pal, whose can-do attitude made each task seem so simple.
And Daksh Mo, who is extremely helpful and determined to complete every task to the best of his abilities.
With that, we would once again like to thank you all for attending this event and making our first global summit a huge success.
We would request you to rise for the school anthem followed by the national anthem, which will then lead to the end of today's event.
Okay, we did want to, just before we get to our anthems, we did want to say thank you to those schools who put extra time and effort into joining us today. Very quickly, those schools are CPS Global School in Chennai, the Sanskar School in Jaipur, Jamnabai Narsi School, our partner school here, as well as Jamnabai Narsi in Gift City. Another one of our sister schools is Chatrabhuj Narsi School in Mumbai. We also thank the Olympia School in Vietnam, the Shishuvan International School in Mumbai, our champions, the Modern High School for Girls in Calcutta, Lady Ando School, the Cathedral and John Kannan School, Pathways School in Noida, Pawar Public School in Kandivali, the Dune Global School, and finally, Cathedral Vidya School. Thank you all very much for your participation, and we ask that you rise for our school anthem followed by our national anthem.
To this our school we are proud to belong, and its praise we sing loud and clear. For here we learn what is right, what is true, and strive to live free from all fear. And as we grow we'll be healthy and strong, and the future we'll face with hope. We'll grow in courage and gain in knowledge, which says our motto is strength supreme. We'll work with fervor and bring great honor to Jamnabai Narsiya School. To our dear school we'll be loyal and true. Keep the rules both in work and play, and to the world we will give of our best. All through the year, through every day, and with each other united in love. For our teachers' respect we'll share. We'll grow in courage and gain in knowledge, which says our motto is strength supreme. We'll work with fervor and bring great honor to Jamnabai Narsiya School.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे